This is exactly right.
Hello and welcome
to the mini episode
of My Favorite Murder,
your family-friendly podcast.
Short version, slow cooking podcast.
That's not family-friendly.
That is in no way well, it's about families.
Yeah. If you have a cool older aunt, that's family-friendly.
She can be into it.
Yeah.
And this is the episode where you guys send us your stories. We just read them to you.
Yeah.
Make
listen,
it real easy.
I'm sure you're thinking, I wish I had a story to send in. You do, because we've asked for everything. So if you have a funny, weird story.
Yeah, there's pretty much anything. Just think of the story that you tell if you are sitting in, say, a meeting and they go around the table and say the most interesting thing about yourself. You know, you can pull something out of that.
And then if you tell it and the whole room is quiet and no one talks to you again, we want to hear it.
That's our story.
That's the one we want to hear.
That's what you owe to us.
You know what? Send us the stories of the time you told a really awkward, weird story that you shouldn't have told. Tell us that story and the time you told it uncomfortably.
Please.
Great. New topic.
All right.
You want to go first?
You want me to?
Always.
This is a nice subject line that gets us right in. Dude pulled a sword.
I love it.
Karen Georgia Stephen et al. I live in the Boulder
area.
Who's
et al? This is et al.
Oh, you haven't met et al? He's my stylist.
Oh.
Yeah, he did my hair like this. It's a good visual joke, but bad for podcasts. I live in the Boulder area, and a few months ago, I got this text from my roommate telling me not to come home until he says everything's okay.
Chill.
I, with my paranoia brain, thought something horrible had happened in our apartment. My dog got hurt. My roommate murdered someone and had to clean up the blood, etc. So I text back, freaked to shit, asking what happened and if everyone's okay. He responds that he and Sam, the dog, were fine, but that our neighbor was having a standoff with the police who had their guns out.
No.
With my paranoia brain at full force, I now assume that my roommate is messing with me. To prove the situation, he takes a picture of 6 cop cars and cops with their guns out of their holsters. I am freaked out entirely and called to get the scoop, which is as follows. My roommate is sitting on our couch and hears pounding on the door. Assuming it is ours, he looks through the peephole and then realizes that a man is pounding on the door across the way. These apartments are direct access, so the doors are all on the outside, and we look about 8 feet across a deck to see our neighbor's door.
I got it. I'm there. Visually, I'm there.
See, I'm there immediately. It's the Woodbridge.
What?
I was going to name it.
It's a vintage Woodbridge.
The Woodbridge Apartments in Sacramento is what I'm thinking.
I'm from Woodbridge. The town I'm from is Woodbridge.
It is?
Karen.
That's nuts.
That's great.
Listen to me. Okay, so he sees a man knocking on the door, pounding.
Okay.
Our neighbor opens the door and they instantly start screaming at each other with words such as, "How could you do that to her?" and "You still have blood on your shirt." Being yelled. Okay.
Got it.
Our neighbor, who's apparently a crafty liar, says that is barbecue sauce, not blood. After a minute or two of this heated exchange, the man pushes our neighbor, who retreats into his apartment and comes back with, not kidding, a samurai sword.
What?
He then takes a swing at the other man, cutting him across the fucking neck.
Holy shit.
This guy starts bleeding profusely and runs down the stairs and out of my roommate's line of sight, yelling that he was going to call the cops. Parentheses, sadly, I have no further information regarding the man with the cut neck.
We'll hear back from you.
We'll hear. The sword wielder went back inside his apartment. My roommate was frozen by the door, unsure of what to do. And a couple minutes later, he hears sirens and all these cops show up. They then start knocking and yelling through my neighbor's door to throw the sword out and then come out with his hands up behind his head. This goes on over half an hour before our neighbor finally does as they say.
Just do it.
Just do it. I can assume that my neighbor went to jail because he never came back.
Yeah, I hope.
Or he just had to get away for a while. And about 6 weeks later, 6 weeks of us being freaked out, living next to a dude who slices people's necks with swords, I saw that he had been evicted from the apartment and all his stuff was on our parking lot.
Go through it.
Sadly, the sword was not included in the items. We just moved into this apartment in August, and that is the 4th neighbor we've had. So I can only assume that the apartment is haunted, and it makes people do things like this. Stay sexy and don't cut someone's neck with a sword. Courtney.
What was the cause of the blood on his shirt, I wonder?
It sounds like that guy in the apartment did something to a woman.
What and who?
And that guy that got his neck cut confronted that guy.
I know, but I want to know, like, what happened.
Oh, right.
Tell me.
That's the part 2. She will drop next week.
Okay. This one's called Teeth. All caps, exclamation marks. Literally, that's the subject line.
Sweet.
Hi, MFM fam. On Monday's Minisode, Georgia said, when I think of the first scary thing that you would find in a box or fucked up thing, it's always just been loose teeth.
Yep.
I stand by that. I knew I had to tell you about the best job I ever had, working as a museum technician for a medical history library / dental museum.
Oh.
Yes. Where I literally had stacks of human teeth from like 100 years ago all over my desk. It was part of a medical school near where I went to college. And basically I spent about 2 years rummaging through all their old timey medical stuff, doing research and cleaning out the centuries of gunk off of them. Fun. I started listening to your podcast while I worked there, and staring at a skull wearing dentures adds a little je ne sais quoi to hearing 2 cool gals talk about gruesome murders. So in no particular order, here's some of the wild shit about that job.
Yes.
100% love this.
Loving it.
When they were building a new hospital building on the grounds near the library 10 or 15 years ago, they discovered that they were digging right on top of what used to be the city's Potter's Field, aka where prisoners or anyone else who couldn't afford proper burial gets buried.
Yep.
Oh, paupers. They call it paupers?
Potters.
Oh.
Yeah.
The city jail down the road that provided some of these bodies, including notorious highway robberess Lavinia Fisher, as well is well known for being super haunted, and I've been on ghost tours there multiple times.
Wow.
God, I want to live in a place like that. Also, apparently, when they excavated some of these graves, a few people were, all caps, face down, meaning it's possible they were buried alive. Yikes.
Oh, no.
Didn't they bury people who were like super evil face down, as in like you can't look up at heaven?
Maybe.
Someone tell us. So many things
Maybe God himself. That'd be nice.
Here's the next one. So many things were in the collection that just had no information on it in the system. I found a loose human jawbone in a box once with no idea where it came from. One time I put in the hours I worked wrong into the system. I put in the right number of hours, but for the wrong days, and my boss told me it was fine as long as I hadn't committed any crimes while supposedly at work, since they wouldn't be able to provide me with an alibi. It wasn't until after I walked away that I realized I had been holding a Benzedrine inhaler, an amphetamine that people used to use for fun, for the entire conversation, which is definitely super illegal to have if you're not part of a medical museum. Even then, we wouldn't be allowed to have it with the contents still inside if the lid weren't sealed shut from rust. Basically, I was doing way more crimes at work than out of work. Someone stole an old Chinese IUD from a display case once.
What? No.
We have no idea who did it or why, since that was literally the least interesting thing in the exhibit. I hope to God they didn't use it.
Oh, no.
No.
No, you can't just put that in there yourself.
Whoop.
No.
No. Planned Parenthood, like for your low costs, go there.
That's not a DIY situation. That's not an OB tampon situation.
Shout out to Planned Parenthood. While I was working there, they were in the process of building a new children's hospital, which happened to be right on top of the former site of the city's tuberculosis sanitarium.
Jesus, they're trying to build haunted houses.
They really are. They're like, let's stir up
city
some
plan.
That's all they got.
Is the mayor Dracula? What's happening?
If that spot isn't already super haunted, I'm sure sick and dying children is not going to help. Thanks so much for all the great work you do, and I can't wait to see you guys in Charleston in September for my 22nd birthday. Stay sexy and wash your hands well after handling body parts, Danny.
Wow, so young. 22nd birthday.
22, she's a little baby.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
If you work at a museum, and I don't want to steal from the beautiful History Channel television show
Mysteries at the Museum. Oh, I love him so much.
I love that guy. He is so insanely earnest. It's hilarious.
I know. We've talked about this.
But you know him?
Yeah. Don Wildman.
Yes.
Because we had the same, we were at like a dinner together when I was on Cooking Channel. Nicest man you've ever met in your life.
Yay.
The nicest, friendliest, earnest. Oh, what do you guys do? Oh, that's so exciting. But he had like a worn leather jacket on too.
Yeah, he always wears that leather jacket.
So handsome.
What's his deal?
I don't know. He was great.
I feel like that's the show. When we're on the road in America, that's the show that's always on when you come home from a show.
Definitely.
And then you're like, I want to learn about haunted sailboats or whatever.
Yeah.
I love Mysteries at the Museum.
Totally good show. Don Wildman.
Don Wildman. Woo woo. Okay, sorry about that.
Karen just finished a Diet Coke, so she's got and a huge cup of coffee, so she's a little wired for sound.
I'm a little bit wired up, and I might woot every once in a while. I will say this too, because I talked about on last week's 2 weeks ago episode of My Fucking Hooray was the season 2 of Marcella. And somebody on Twitter wrote to me and said, what are you doing? You didn't even mention how beautiful Rav is, who's another detective in the department. And, I don't think I wrote back to her, but I was about to write back to her saying, I'm trying not to do that anymore. Talk about men you find attractive, and then all the murderinos make fucking GIFs about them and humiliate you.
At them. And tag Don Wildman.
And start hashtags, and then I have to face their faces. I have to look right into their fucking faces and be like, hi, I'm the thirstiest woman in podcasting. It's pathetic. It's pathetic.
Someday it'll get you.
Think it's going to pay off?
Your second husband is going to come from one of these. Listen, we haven't met Paul Onions yet. Maybe he's just as thirsty for you.
Poor Paul Onions. I guarantee he's not. Okay. This subject line is lured by tanning beds and shopping.
Oh, don't do that.
Hi, ladies and Steven. So when I was about 14 and finally figuring out that maybe I was better than my, quote, just do it shirts and basketball shorts,
Amen.
I entered what I like to call my Barbie phase. I love it. I spent most of my time at the mall and in a tanning bed. Adventurous, I know.
Oh, honey.
It's so funny. This is what we do when we're teens. Yeah. It's like you just want to go back and forth and try it all out.
I did those.
During this time, we had just moved into a new house, and I had an electrician over to help us with our shitty meter. He who shall not be named hit it off with my parents and was over at the house almost 2 to 3 times a week.
No.
Oof. He was charismatic, younger, and very protective of me. She's 14. Some days he would pick me up from school.
I don't like it.
This is an electrician.
Gain the trust of the parents. Hey, can you pick up our 14-year-old daughter who's tanning and wearing tiny clothes?
You're our electrician who's also a mere acquaintance.
Yeah.
Do you mind going to...
We trust you now.
Get our preteen daughter. Or our freshly teened daughter.
Freshly teened.
Okay, so some days he'd pick me up from school, pick me up from the tanning salon, and even come to my shows. I am a musician. One day, he had picked me up from some sort of event, and he said he had to make a quick stop at his house, and he wanted me to come in and show me something.
Oh,
Jesus
God.
Christ. I enter his house, and it's immaculate, probably because he didn't own much of anything. Then he directs me to the basement.
No.
And looking back now, I have no idea why I wasn't fucking freaking out. My mother would be disappointed.
He lulled you into No, your mom is at fault. Your mom, he lulled you into a sense of security.
We're going to sue your mother.
Yeah.
His basement's empty. You know, but I wonder if they knew he was picking her up from school, or if he was like rolling on by like, hey, what's up? You just got out. I'm right here. Shit. Like that kind of shit.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom.
I mean, we'll
deal with her later.
You could be in the wrong. Mothers are usually wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So his basement is empty except for all the goddamn swords on his walls. And sitting pretty beneath them was, you guessed it, a tanning bed. He bought one just for me so I could tan for free at his house.
Explain my face right now.
Georgia looks surprised in a 50s beer commercial style of like, oh my God.
I would look more surprised if I hadn't had Botox recently.
Yeah, but your eyes are nice and wide. I'm really seeing that expression.
The Botox lifts your brows a little bit, and so you look a little more awake.
There's lots of surprise all the time about nothing.
That is fucking, that's a coffin. It looks like a coffin. You know, a tanning bed looks like a coffin.
You getting a 14-year-old to come to your house and tan in your basement.
And also a tanning bed costs, I don't know, I would guess at least as much as a car.
$10,000 probably, I'd say.
Yeah. Especially back then when they were all the rage.
Right? Okay.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Now I finally get my first red flag. That's when she sees a tanning bed in the basement under swords.
Shit.
And start to think something's not right. He gets a phone call. Apparently, it's some man on the other line promising him money, like some sort of loan. He finishes the call and says he's just received a loan for a few $100,000 and he's taking me on vacation. I love it when vacations are forced upon you. Here I am alone with this man who I've probably known for a few months, and he wants to take me on vacation. I ask if my boyfriend can go, and he says no because we're leaving in the morning.
What?
And then he takes me to the mall, tightly holding my arm, and picks out lots of clothes for our tropical journey.
Oh my God, my toes are squeezed.
Yeah,
tight.
This is insane. The whole time I'm scared shitless, but really loving what he's picking out.
Jesus Christ.
14. He drops me back at home and tells me to keep our little vacation a secret. Okay. I get up the next morning and my parents told me he called and would like to take me mini golfing. I woke up with a sore throat and my parents declined. Thank you, Streptococcus. He still decides to take the trip, and a week later we receive a call that he was found dead in his hotel room.
Steven, can I just say Steven, who knows, he picked this story out so he knows it, is staring dead at me, just waiting for my response. Like, he knows what you're reading, and he's just like, Georgia's face is...
Get ready.
Oh my God. He's found dead?
Found dead in his hotel room. I still don't know his real intentions, but I can guarantee you they weren't fucking kosher.
You think?
Anyway, stay smart, all caps, sexy, and don't trust minimalist electricians with tanning beds next to their sword collection. Love, a very much alive Dakota. Update.
Yes, Dakota, because tell me. Okay.
I just realized I didn't mention how he died. Heart attack. Nothing fun, but still dead body.
Okay, I wanted to know that, but Dakota, please, have you ever told your parents the story? Because I want to know how they reacted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yes, they would.
I bet she didn't tell them till she was an adult. Oh, by the way, remember that time you were going to let me go mini golfing?
Yeah. Remember when I made friends with the electrician?
And I bet this is what my mom would have said. Well, yeah, you would have been fine. Like, she wouldn't have taken any, oh God, I almost got my daughter killed. No. Janet also, we got a guy to come paint our house once. When I was a little kid, and my mom ended up dating him for months. But he was like the best. He wasn't a nightmare monster.
Yeah, he was like, times.
My mom should have married him, but he was poor, so she wouldn't.
Oh, Janet!
I don't know what happened to Ammon, but I almost had a good stepdad.
Oh,
Ammon. Okay.
With America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh, you'll get easy, seasonal recipes and pre-measured ingredients delivered right to your door. All you have to do is cook and enjoy. HelloFresh makes cooking delicious meals at home a reality. From step-by-step recipes to pre-measured ingredients, you'll have everything you need to get a wow-worthy dinner on the table in about 30 minutes. Say goodbye to endless grocery store trips and takeout. HelloFresh has you covered. There's something for everyone, from family recipes to calorie smart and vegetarian, and fun menu series like Hall of Fame and craft burgers. HelloFresh has more 5-star recipes than any other meal kit, so you'll know you're getting something incredible. HelloFresh is flexible and it fits your lifestyle. Easily change your delivery days, food preferences, and skip a week whenever you need. Break out of your dinner rut and make deliciousness part of every week with HelloFresh. I love that even though HelloFresh is super easy and they make it really basic and like straightforward, you still feel like you're cooking this like incredible home cooked dinner. And that makes me feel good about myself. And that instead of just ordering takeout, I'm actually making something and preparing something at home. And that just, it feels good. So for $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com/murder80 and enter murder80. It's like receiving 8 meals for free only at HelloFresh.com/murder80, promo code murder80. Go buy.
This is called the Napkin Eaters.
Shit. Is this about supermodels?
No, isn't that cotton balls?
Tissues, I think anything.
Well, here we go. Maybe that's the answer. Dear Karen, Georgia, Stephen, and assorted pets. I'll just jump right into it because I'm pretty sure this has only ever happened to my friend and I, and it's fucking weird. This happened when my friend Devin and I were sophomores in college. We went to a dining hall pretty late on a Saturday night, around 11:30. And since it was a weekend and most people were out, we were the only two people there besides the workers. Since it was closing soon, all the chairs were put on the tables for the night besides the big, long table we were at, so we sat by ourselves. At the end of it, soon after we sat down, a group of 10 to 15 kids came in, but they looked younger than us, like they might be in high school, which was strange because not only was it weird to see high schoolers on campus, but it was 11:30 on a Saturday night, blah, 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 and probably wasn't some admission event, blah, blah, blah. They sat at the same table as us, and we were only separated from them by a seat or two, and we kind of gave each other a look, but decided it wasn't that odd because, like I said, the other tables would flip, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The girl at the head table, who looked like she might have been a bit older than the rest, passed out stacks of napkins to everyone. And I remember thinking it was weird because none of them had any food. But I thought, stop being weird and analyzing these people and their napkins. Then, after passing out the stack of napkins, the lead girl said, "Ready?" with a complacent smile, and to our horror, all caps, the kids suddenly began rapidly shoving the napkins into their mouths.
What?
We literally did not know what to do, but they were sitting, all caps, right next to us, just shoving napkins into their mouths. But they weren't even laughing or acknowledging how fucking weird they were being at all. And that's what made it even more bewildering.
Yes.
We looked at each other in complete shock, with literal tears streaming down our faces from trying not to laugh. Got up and left because they didn't know what else to do. We ran upstairs to our suite where we could see the dining hall from our window, and they left soon after we did, and it looked like they were marching in a line. We tried to explain it to our suite mates what had just happened, but they looked at us like we were crazy. I even tried Googling rapid napkin eating to see if anything came up, but no dice. To this day, we still have no idea why those people did that or who they were, but let me tell you, there is something oddly threatening about teenagers shoving napkins into their mouths, especially in such close proximity to you without warning. Stay sexy, don't get murdered, and watch out for napkin eaters, I guess. Hannah.
Whoa.
Someone email us and tell us what the fuck that was all about.
You know what the first thing it makes me think of is, remember that cult, the Garbage Eaters?
No.
Yeah, it's, they did this really amazing special on it, I think on 60 Minutes. And it was like one guy, it was this really bizarre cult.
Like
and
dumpster divers?
Yes. So basically they would get college students, they would recruit on college campuses. So it was, everybody was like in their early 20s. And it was basically, do you like the life you're leading? You know, do you think it matters? Do you think you're doing something important? And they would kind of break these super scholastic, intelligent students and who were searching for more.
Smart ones, like really smart ones who were sick of what's the point of this schooling I'm doing?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, why am I working so hard? What am I? And then I'm just going to be a lawyer or whatever. Yeah. And they would basically entirely cut themselves off from their family. The families were all chasing them around the country, and they were going around the country, and they would live in they would squat in abandoned houses, and there were girls in the cult. They weren't allowed to cut their hair. They kind of looked Amishy, but like homeless Amish. Yeah. And
homeless, that's gotta be a look in like fucking Williamsburg.
Yeah, that's true. And it was the boys' job to go out and like recruit all day. And then the girls had to, it was like very like old school where the girls stayed home, took care of the house, they'd all collect garbage, like dumpster diving, you know. Freegans out of the back of the grocery store, the rotten lettuce and shit. And basically read the Bible and prepare for the apocalypse.
Shit.
But really young, and it was really crazy. What
was it called?
I think they're called the Brethren or something like that.
Someone tell us about them.
And they might not be around anymore because their leader died, but I could be wrong. But it's really, really intense, like young people's cult. And these family members, it's so tragic.
Smarter to recruit really the smart kids.
Yes.
And not just like dumb followers. It's just like...
No, smart people are the most susceptible because they don't think they're susceptible.
Oh, yeah.
And they're the ones that like question and get in their heads about stuff.
Or they've been so obsessed with school and grades and shit that when a social clique comes and like wants to recruit them and wows them, suddenly they're like, I haven't had this ever.
Yep.
Because you and I aren't that smart, and we would never join a cult.
We would never because we're dumb.
One more for you? Yes. One more for me?
Yes.
Okay.
And this one, it's actually, oops, sorry. Now we're being thematic because this is also about a cult.
Great.
I almost joined a cult, Nexim. That's how you pronounce it. Nexim.
Oh, that's the branding one.
That's right. So Nexim might not sound familiar, but it's NXIVM.
I didn't know that's how you said it.
Yeah, I looked it up on Wikipedia.
Oh, I heard of that.
That's
my cult, Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is my cult. Hi, Karen in Georgia. My town, a suburb of Albany, New York. And then it says in parentheses, the capital.
Learning something new every day.
Thank you for the information. Is the proud incubator of societal infection, Nexim, and patient zero himself, Kenneth Renier. The cult's headquarters are a 2-minute drive from my house.
Oh, shit.
At a job fair I attended at my school, a liberal arts college not far from my home, I was introduced to a company called The Knife of Aristotle.
Sounds chill. Great.
Which is a totally cult sounding, I know, but I was soon to be unemployed English major, and I just figured my fellow millennials were getting extra creative with their startups. The guy I met looked like any of my brother's Brooklynite neighbors, hipster chic, and then in parentheses, vom. And harmless. He invited me to a meeting at another college to discuss a position at the company.
You're like, great, let's look at your dick first. Sorry, Jesus Christ.
just to know.
No, like he's cute, so she's hitting on him.
Oh,
Should I cut that out?
No, I love it.
Okay.
Please. It's who you are. It's who you are.
I'm a dick asker. That's who
Here at the Knife of Aristotle, we support everyone, every way you are. Okay, so here's the red flag roundup. Love it. There were only 3 of us college kids, all girls, at this meeting, and 2 company employees, which, and the meeting took place in a small classroom. Here we are in the super informal setting, and this kind of mousy chick introduces this slick guy while he stands up. She literally introduced him to the 3 of us like he was the fucking keynote at a national conference. Sidebar, dude has 3 names, Jensen Eric Gould. They show us a super creepy culty video loaded with bias. This company's whole shtick is stripping the media of its bias. Naturally, I think it's like a test or a joke, but when I brought that up, they looked at me like I was the one with too much gel in my hair. Fucking weirdos. The whole time the woman lets this guy talk over her. She stared up at him adoringly with her chin in her hand. She was practically drooling. I wrote it off as a personal thing, thinking maybe they were together or maybe she was in love with him and he didn't give her the time of day. You had to pay to be employed.
No.
They offered an analyst training course that cost something absurd like $5,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, right, buddy. I may have been a student at a rich-ass school, but my tuition was remitted. Dream on. They offered frequently awarded scholarships, though. I was given an application. By the end of this, I honestly couldn't care less about the weird vibes because this would be a dream job. Work from home, make bank, and actually apply the close reading skills I'd perfected at school. Thankfully, my aunt did about 5 minutes of vetting online when I told her about it. Cool aunt saved the day. When I told her about it and figured out that this company is just a giant front for the Nexim cult. What's more, the publication that exposed this, the Times Union, was one I asked them about in the meeting. And they said, "It's okay. Why do you ask?" And she put like 9 A's. Also, what laziness from the 2 colleges involved. They apparently didn't know how to Google things.
Wow.
The company proceeded to call me incessantly for the next 3 weeks before giving up. I would have ended up making the cut anyway for many reasons. I wouldn't have ended up making the cut anyway for many reasons, most notably because they apparently showed potential female members graphic film footage depicting rape and sexual abuse, and those who had little to no reaction were advanced in the cult.
What?
And those who freaked out were Neximed. See what I did there? That's what she wrote. I was going to share the story with my local news, but then I was like, nah, fuck it. I'd rather tell Karen and Georgia. I'm also salty that all those times I thought I saw some chick who looked like Chloe from Smallville in my town. It was actually motherfucking Chloe from Smallville.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God, I can't breathe.
She's like one of the heads of that cult.
Yeah.
Thanks for being awesome, SSDGM Natalie. That's
Natalie,
good looking out for yourself.
First person.
And this weird shit. like all of those red flags of like, if it's all women, but it's supposed to be recruiting for a job, that's a problem.
When I was in I worked at a court reporting agency and I needed a new job, there was this court reporting agency that was always hiring. And I got their application and like one of the questions was like, are you okay with the teachings of L. Ron Hubbard? And blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I really fucking need a job. Like, I can just go work there and not join, right? But it was like, you know what? I don't want to find out.
Yeah, because their whole goal is to make you join. Yeah. So like any way you think you might be able to be strong about something, they've already thought it through and broken people down.
Totally.
I mean, good call to not test it.
Yeah.
Cults, man.
This is called Rocky the Mortician Listened to My Heart Too.
Oh.
Do you remember Rocky the Mortician?
Oh, yes, the heart. Yeah. I didn't remember that their name was Rocky.
So was it last week? Okay.
Yeah, it was last Monday's Minisode.
Last Monday, if you remember it. So let's talk about this. Hello, Karen, Georgia, Stephen, and Menagerie. I was sitting on the bus listening to the Minisode when I heard something that transported me to the past I have long tried to forget. In around 2009, 2010, I was working as a sex worker and I placed an ad on Craigslist Personals, RIP, looking for fetish customers as this was better money than full service sex and also not strictly illegal. Sometimes I ended up doing full service for fetish clients, but sometimes I was lucky and they just wanted me to stamp on their balls or one time listen to my heart with a stethoscope.
Oh, shit.
Girl. Yes, that's right, ladies. A man called Rocky contacted me and wanted me to come to his apartment and let him listen to my heart for $200 an hour. Looks like he hasn't put his prices up in years. What a tightwad. My boyfriend at the time drove me to his apartment and waited outside as he usually did when I worked. Rocky was short, middle-aged, and I remember that he had dark hair and was kind of balding. Nothing wrong with that. He wanted me to get undressed, but keep my underwear on and lie down on the bed as still as possible. I did this, and he began placing the stethoscope on different points of my body. Then he told me to try and breathe as shallowly and little as possible. Oh my God. I was pretty fucking creeped out, but I didn't get the feeling that he was particularly dangerous. He listened to my chest and torso with his stethoscope for a long time and was also lightly stroking my arms, which to be honest felt pretty good.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
After the time was up, he stopped. I got dressed and he gave me a soda. He seemed quite lonely and was very polite. He told me that he had a young woman living with him who he was helping out, getting her back on her feet, etc. But they had recently gotten into an argument and she had moved out. Or did you get I assume her part of the deal was the stethoscope play, and now he had to look on Craigslist to satisfy his weird kink. I didn't ask him what the deal with the playing dead thing was, as I didn't want to make him angry. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I didn't see him again because although it was easy money, it was just too sinister. This all happened in New York. I'm not going to say where she says some other shit. And he didn't tell me he was a mortician. I'm pretty sure this was the same guy, though. How many Rockies with stethoscope fetishes can there be? I really hope that his kink hasn't escalated into something more dangerous and sinister.
Yes, I do too.
Another funny coincidence. I also now work in law. Like the other Rocky girl. I got off drugs, went to law school, and I'm about to start work as a criminal attorney.
Fuck yes, girl.
Maybe Rocky had some kind of magic legal career touch. Or maybe he was just a creep. Thank you, ladies, for always showing sex workers respect and giving victims a voice no matter who they are. Hell yeah. Stay sexy and don't get murdered by a weird mortician. Love, Lily.
Lily. Wow.
Oh my God. One day Rocky's going to email us and tell us everything about it. If
He's
someone knows... about it. Yeah. Look, listen.
Look,
I'm really not a creep.
I'm not a creep. When I was 8, I had this loving doctor. There's going to be some story.
It turns out that there also was a spell put on me that every woman I touch turns into a lawyer, which is like the best.
He's actually a Highlander. He's an ancient wizard. He's been around for a long time.
I mean, if you have a fetish and you want, I mean, what the fuck? He paid them well. He didn't come onto them.
He didn't harm anybody. He didn't threaten anybody. But I think it is telling that even though he didn't harm her and, you know, it wasn't bad, she still vibe-wise was like, don't do that again.
100%.
I think that's interesting and great that she listened to herself.
Definitely. Don't go back.
Yes, exactly.
Go mash those balls instead.
Hooray!
Thanks for listening. Send us your stories. We wouldn't have a Minisode without them.
God, that stethoscope will live in my heart forever.
There's send them myfavoriteMurder@gmail is where you send them.
Please. And we want to hear anything weird about yourself.
Yeah. And, you know, think of a straight to the point subject line, I think helps Steven a lot, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And please stay sexy.
And don't get murdered.
Goodbye.
Elvis, what cookie?
Yeah.
We should just glue a cookie to the microphone. Just knows to go right into